Hello, America. We're at a very special point in this series. Extremely special. The most important of all the videos I'll make. This is where a miracle happens. I can't put it any other way. These people are about to go through one of the most intense experiences of their life. They're about to be reborn. They're about to get a new operating system lithographically impressed onto their brain. One of somebody that didn't have a traumatic childhood and can have all the superpowers of kids that, did all this. It's going to be amazing. Well, you can say, Daniel, how are we going to do this? We're going to do it with Jesus Take the Wheel powder. So if you need to imagine what Jesus Take the Wheel powder is, all you have to do to imagine it is take the song, Jesus Take the Wheel, and then imagine that you could powder it up. Except this powder is a naturally occurring substance that did not come from the bottom of the chemistry set. If anybody says, when they find out what it is, because I'll never mention the actual name of it, you're going to have to figure that out yourself. Because I know Sadamon's algorithms are at work, and I'll never say the name of it. So we renamed it to Jesus Take the Wheel powder. There actually has been companies that said that they wanted to make it synthesize it out of the bottom of a boiling flask, but those companies failed somehow. And I imagine it's because they were trying to isolate the part that just maybe, but then they realized, God was way too masterfully made this substance that there's no way to isolate the part. It resets all dopamine receptors. So the reason why that company that tried to make it on the bottom of a chemistry set and have like some kind of public company, the reason why it didn't work was because they did the research and it cures the dopamine imbalance that is caused by this thing. And the people in power cannot have that. That's sacrilegious to them. So as soon as they figured that out, they got shut down real quick. They're like, what? That's what provides us all our power. Like, how else are we going to thin the herd? Like, these people got to stare at these things 4.5 hours a day. If they don't, they're going to start really realizing what's going on. Can we substitute it with something that we synthesize out the bottom of a chemistry set? No, America, do not take the bait. Do not let them ever convince you. We need the real deal. God made it perfectly. And the reason why here's the sick, twisted, demonic jest of sorts that we're dealing with. The drug's illegal in the United States. How? When our children are dying on the streets, I don't have any idea. A couple people have died. Well, last time I checked, our kids are dying faster than they were on the beaches of Omaha Beach in the invasion of D-Day. You think the risk is worth it? But anyway, that won't happen at all. Because this is like reinstalling an operating system on someone's brain. So it can't be done lightly. There are Jesus Take the Wheel powder clinics in Mexico that just bring you down here and just give it to you. I don't agree with that at all. So let that just be known. There's only a couple of them that actually know how to use it. And you know what the crazy part is? Is that even those clinics somehow succeed and have a 5 or 6 times higher success rate than every single drug rehab in America. I don't agree with it. I think it's way too powerful of a substance to be giving people that are just fresh off the street and they're still coming down a day after. No. Way too powerful for that. This has to be used in this context. It's a very powerful tool. You got to have respect for it. And if you have respect for it, they've seen the cardiologist, their blood work's perfect, they've been doing cardio, you got the diet right, you've been healing with the hyperbaric chamber, they're doing yoga, their nervous system's in the right place. Oh, wow. I can't even describe what it does. I will, but it's pretty amazing. After the fast, it's time to pull out the big guns. It's time to go all the way. We hook them up to a monitor for their heart. We hook them up to an IV so they stay hydrated. So here's the thing. You're going to take you take this powder, right? They give it to you slowly to monitor for reactions. It's not like they just give you the flood dose. They just, here, take a pill. Every hour you take a pill. It's going to last for about 24 hours. What's going to happen inside of you after about the second hour is you got a little eye cover over, because any light that passes through your retinas while your operating system's being reinstalled, if you lift up the cover over your eyes, you're just like blinded, dude. It's like, dude, everything shades. You can't see anything. If you have to go to the bathroom, somebody has to carry you, help you, because you have no equilibrium. You'll just fall straight over on the ground. It doesn't happen this intense unless you have the layer of candida that was stopping you from proper nutrient absorption removed from your microbiome. And since you've been fasting and exercising, so whatever you put into that super clean, your bioreactor intestine microbiome is sitting there empty. You've been exercising. There's no layer of candida. It's just ready for anything you put into it. So what we're going to put into it in this state is Jesus Take the Will powder. And what happens is it goes in there, it goes straight to your liver, it gets transformed into a different form of itself, and it goes straight to your brain, passes the blood-brain barrier. Whoa! Oh, this is insane. First thing you start hearing is woo, 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 woo. That's the sound of your brain about to do a hard reset. Your body knows exactly what to do with this substance. It is magical. It is like unbelievable. As you go into the trance, you start having visions. You start having visions. It's like snapshots. It's either little short videos of your life, your childhood, and your family members, or it's like Polaroids. Like ding, ding, ding. And they describe this, a lot of people. And not everybody has the visions, but that's because not everybody goes through this intense process of preparation. If you take it and you got candida, just like if you took collagen or something, most of these supplements you're taking with candida are not working like a tenth of as good as they could. It seems like to me. That's just my personal opinion. Because soon as you take this Jesus Take the Will powder and your microbiome's empty and you've been fasting and you've been exercising, it gets absorbed in this way where next thing you know, looking at a torrid shape. That's the be-all, end-all of what I've seen. And not everybody sees this. I guess, I was told that I did really, really well in this program because a lot of people, they don't take anything seriously. They don't want to do yoga. They don't want to push themselves on the cardio. They're not there to actually heal. But seeing how I had done thousands of pages of writing and know exactly what my problem was, and I was trying to heal it, and it was my life's mission to heal it, and to heal my wife for my son's sake, so I could heal myself. This was all I cared about. This is my only mission in life. It wasn't to do crime or whatever. All I wanted to do was heal. I find a way to heal myself, find a way to heal my people, everybody around me, because I've just seen so much pain and suffering. So this is a 24-hour period where there's a doctor there that's just monitoring. And if we did this on a large scale, the likelihood of something actually happening is very slim to none. Like if you're giving them slow pill dose one at a time and you're monitoring them, one or two doctors could monitor, 15, 20 people, because all they're doing is sitting there the whole time. I mean, there's clinics that don't even have a doctor that just give people this right off the bat. And that's complete. I don't even agree with that. But if you do all this preparation, I think that in the places where they do all this preparation, nobody ever, it's not a factor. Not really a factor. I've heard they've even given it to 80-year-old ladies. And they've been fine. If they see the cardiologist and the cardiologist says they're good and their blood work's good, they're straight, So, yeah. So we could have one or two doctors just monitoring them. I guess you could have all the little patches on you that monitor your heart, like deet, deet, deet. They had all that. I don't think it's really necessary if you're in that type of shape, but whatever. and the IV so you don't have to drink water. And you lay there for about 24 hours. It's not easy. It's not pleasant at all. It's almost like going to see your grandpa after you got out of prison and he smacks the shit out of you. Uncomfortable experience. You know, some of the videos and the pictures you see are of your trauma as they're being washed away from you. Understand that even when right before I came to Mexico, yeah, I may have been a criminal, I may have been all this stuff, but the only thought I had in my mind that I kept imagining was healing myself. I had done all this writing. I knew that I suffered from childhood trauma. I knew that everyone around me suffered from childhood trauma. I just knew there had to be a way. God would not forsake all of us to so much pain and suffering without a way out. I had faith in God, and I prayed every day. He answered my prayers. He did. Thank you, Father. Thank you so much. When you start to recover from it, you'll know you hit the money. Now, you can ask somebody if they did it. If they got their equilibrium back, like if they didn't have vertigo, if they could walk straight and they weren't dizzy, that should last for about 2 days. But what should last for about 5 days is when you wake up and you open your eyes first thing in the morning and you move your head, everything should shade like, you know, your light, the amount of light going through your eyes, your retinas should be sensitive. And not everybody says that happens, but that's if you really got in there. That's if you really did the damn thing. And then 5 days after it, it's kind of like a twilighty experience, I would say. Like, you know, the sensitivity to light, you're kind of just walking around. You're not doing yoga or anything like that. You're just kind of taking it easy. It kind of feels like a memory, almost like you're reborn. Yeah, almost like you're having those memories all over again. And you're reborn into a different person. I know I was. That's why I'm Daniel 2.0 now, because Daniel 1.0 is dead. He's gone. That's when you break it to him. We're going to have to do it one more time. It's not going to be a popular idea, because I know when they told me that, I was like, wait, we're going to do it again? And they're like, yeah, we're going to do it again. We can't hit them with it once. We got to go twice for good measure, guys. Not going to be a popular idea with them, I'll tell you that. Not at all. I know they told me that. I was like, what? We're going to do it again? Because you're completely immobilized. And it's not a pleasant experience, like seeing all these pictures of your trauma, but it's very uncomfortable and very intense. I mean, you can't walk. I mean, it's just like, it's not, you can't, and you got to fast for another day. Now, through that whole time, that whole 5 days after that you were recovering, the portions of food don't change. They don't change the shakes back to the regular ones. It's like you're still getting these like meager portions and these other shakes that are just not nearly as good as the ones with the colostrum and bone broth. And it's just like, oh man, another week of this meager portions and then I got to take this stuff again. Like, oh man, it's unreal. So, of course you do it. And then you fast for another day. At this point, you're feeling so hungry. You've lost a lot of weight. At that point, every criminal thinking, childhood trauma, sexual deviancy, eating problems, dopamine imbalance from these things just were washed away from me like I had mud all over me and I was standing under a waterfall. And it just all came off of me. It was just gone. It was the most miraculous thing I've ever experienced. Stuff's real, guys. You got to go through that recovery for another 5 days. And the portions are still meager. At this point, the portions are starting to irritate you because you're like, okay, I've done it twice. Why are the portions still so meager? Why haven't we switched back to the original shakes? Like, what's going on? But there is a couple little things that were done. I'm not saying they're 100% necessary, but it sure helped after going through such a crazy experience as that, because that was like going to see your grandpa, and if your grandpa was like a straight badass that you're really afraid of, and you just got out of prison, and he helped raise you, and your dad was super good, and you should never been in prison, and then you go and see him, but your grandpa was some like huge crazy ass dude, and he sees you, and he just smacks the shit out of you, just maybe more than once, actually, like bah, bah, bah. Probably for like 24 hours straight. That's what it feels like. He does it. I mean, it works, trust me. I'm telling you. But anyway, that's it for this segment. We're going to talk about, it's a 3-month thing. We're at, that's the completion of week 10. That's the pinnacle of this whole thing. Because any part up until this point, if we were to stop and we were to release the people, they're still going to steal your mail. They're still going to do crime. Nothing's going to work, without that step. Okay? Everything we did was building up to that one step. And if you need if you want to find evidence of some demonic agenda to thin the herd, look no further than this substance being illegal. There is no evidence on planet Earth of a country that is the most wealthiest, powerful country in the world that has its children dying in the streets with this substance being illegal there. There is no evidence on planet Earth that could prove a demonic agenda to thin the herd as well as this fact. Period. Look no further, guys. It's there. It's right there. It's right in front of you. So, that's my opinion, my personal opinion. If you want to try to kill me for it because you want to thin the herd, I don't really care. Because I feel like this is a video game where God's constantly watching me to see if I do the right thing, and he tells me that this is just some kind of tent, and my soul will just fly right out of it even if you put holes through it. So, I'm here on a mission. I had my friend die yesterday, and I knew her son. I thought about him all last night. Love you. Love you, America. Like always, you can like and subscribe if you want. But more than anything, I'd appreciate a prayer for me, my family. But more importantly, pray for the people that aren't as lucky as me, that aren't here today. There's a lot of them. I've known hundreds of them. Love you guys. Love you, every single one of you. Be strong. Be strong. Give me the words, Father.